Okay, excellent. In this lesson, we'll talk about discount rates. We said that to perform a capital budgeting exercise, we must discount future cash flows and obtain their present value. However, we still must cover a subtle topic, which is the discount rate that should be used for this calculation. Well, that's up to the person carrying out the analysis, but a few alternatives are typically used in different scenarios. Depending on the project we are valuing and the way it will be financed, our discount rate could be the firm's cost of debt, the firm's cost of equity, its weighted average cost of capital, or a hurdle rate chosen by management. Cost of debt. This is the average interest rate the company pays on its borrowings. It makes sense to use the cost of debt as a discounting rate if the entire project is financed with debt. In this case, this is the cost the company sustains to finance the project. Hence, when we use the cost of debt as a discounting rate, we'll be able to compare the investment required now and the present value of the cash flows the project will generate. An alternative discount rate is the company's cost of equity. There are many ways to calculate a company's cost of equity. In this course, we'll apply the one used by investment bankers. It is called the Capital Asset Pricing Model, also known as CAPM. The model was introduced in the 1960s, but remains relevant to this day and age. The Capital Asset Pricing Model suggests a company's cost of equity is equal to the risk-free rate plus beta multiplied by the market risk premium. The risk-free rate in an economy is the rate of return that an investor would expect from a financial security that contains zero default risk. The investor buys the security and can be certain he will be repaid on time and in full. In the complicated world of today, very few securities can be considered risk-free, but most practitioners use the yield of a 10-year government bond to approximate this measure. The governments of developed countries have a solid reputation and can be trusted in a 10-year time frame. The rationale behind using a 10-year and not a 3-month bond is that the valuation of the firm is a multi-year exercise. Hence, the risk-free rate used shouldn't reflect a period as short as 3 months. The next component in the calculation is beta. This is a statistical measure. For those of you who love statistics and quant finance, beta can be calculated with the following formula, and it is basically used to show how a financial security behaves regarding the rest of the market. That is why we are dividing its covariance with the rest of the market by the market's variance. If this is confusing, don't worry. Many financial providers calculate a company's beta for you. Let's open P&G's Yahoo Finance profile. As promised, you can immediately see the company's beta. Here it is, almost 0.5, which usually is considered a conservative stock. A beta that is less than 1 indicates the stock is less volatile than the market. A beta of 1 shows the stock is as volatile as the market. If the market gains 1%, it will also gain 1%. If the market loses 5%, it will lose 5%. Stocks that have a beta higher than 1 are considered aggressive and are more volatile than the market. If the market grows 2%, the respective stock will probably earn 2.5 or 3%, and so on. You get it, right? A company's beta will typically have a value ranging between 0 and 2. The next component in CAPM is market risk premium. Theoretically, it is given by the average expected return of the market minus the risk-free rate. Academic research has shown the average market risk premium rate varies between 4.5% and 5.5%, and most practitioners use 5% in their cost of equity calculations. So, we will have the following. The cost of equity in a company is given by the risk-free rate in the economy where it operates, plus the company's beta multiplied by 5%. Cost of equity is not that difficult to calculate, right? You can find the yield of a 10-year U.S. bond in Google. Then we saw that a company's beta is available in platforms like Yahoo Finance and Bloomberg. And finally, we multiply by a constant 5%. Easy, right? If we take a careful look at CAPM, it makes sense. A financial securities return should be composed of 2 parts. First, the risk-free rate of return as a minimum, compensating the investor for the time value of money. and a second component, compensating the investor for the additional risk for holding a security that is not risk-free. The risk is measured by comparing the stock to the rest of the market, and the result is that the riskier the stock, the higher its expected return should be. Brilliant, isn't it? So, this is how we can calculate a company's cost of equity. The CAPM model is one of the most widely accepted academic papers on this topic. We can use the cost of equity as a discounting factor for projects financed entirely with our own funds, with equity. This is an assumption that no debt will be used to finance the project. I'm sure you'll agree that, in practice, projects are not financed with just equity or debt. In 90% of the cases, we'll use a mixture of both. Stay tuned, and we'll discuss what to do in these situations in our next lesson.